right, everybody, we're going to get started now. So thank you. First of all, thank you so much for joining me for this workshop tonight. I know a lot of you that are here, hi Carla, that y'all are, well, pretty much all of you that are here, you're waiting for your bar results. I'm on Reddit constantly. I don't know if any of you guys followed any of the threads on there regarding the bar. So I see part of the reason I decided to do this was because I've just seen how many people are anxious and commenting about it. So, and like wanting to do something. So I thought I would host just a free little live workshop so we can talk about that stuff. And also feel free, I turned the chat on. There's also a Q&A section. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat or type them in the Q&A. If it's an actual question that you want me to answer, like substantive, definitely type it in the Q&A versus the chat because I get so many chats coming in. So it can be a little difficult to keep track there. But if you put it in the Q&A, I can definitely see it. So first, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Maureen. I am the founder and creator of BarMD. So we're a full service bar prep company. A lot of you, I'm curious, how do you guys know me? Or like, how did you hear about this? Can you tell me in the chat? I know some of you I know, some of y'all are my students, but I am so curious how you guys found out about this, found out about BarMD or me or what. If you guys, I know a lot of people see our YouTube videos. Oh, sure, I'm so glad. YouTube, word of mouth. Oh, nice, Juliana. YouTube. Yeah, a lot of YouTube. Yeah, that seems to be the big thing, the YouTube. So I'm so glad. And we're definitely going to post this there. I have a lot of resources that are posted to YouTube. And we're also actually going to be like revamping it and adding some more stuff. We're going to add, I think, a special thing with some more videos, like a special, like upgraded YouTube thing if you want a little bit more there, but can't maybe do the full course. We're gonna have an option there too. So we're exploring all sorts of different stuff because I know tons of people find us on YouTube. So just super glad that you're here. I love doing bar prep. I think most people, most bar applicants hate it, understandably, but this whole test is totally figure outable. And I just really think, I do think that every single one of you here, and anybody that takes it can absolutely pass this test. You have to figure out what's going on. So a couple of things. One, if anybody in particular, if any of you want to set up a time to chat with me, if you have a question, and you want to if you want to talk about your bar prep or just anything at all, you can sign up for a meeting with me here. So I just thought I would put that link in the chat. That way, if you have any concerns or, anything at all, feel free to set up an appointment to chat with me. If none of the times there listed work, I have kind of limited time slots just because I'm writing several books at the moment. Let me know if none of those times work. You can always email us at hello@bar-md.com and we'll get back to you there. But definitely feel free to make an appointment to sign up. I know it says score review. Don't worry about that. That's just my preferred link that I use for setting up these types of appointments. So yeah, so again, I'm Maureen. Super happy to have everybody here. Let's talk about waiting for your results for the bar exam and what should you be doing and what should you not be doing. So that's all we're going to talk about today really is what not to do while you wait for results and also some really good things to do while you wait for results. So, and one thing I want to say, how many of you guys, you can tell me in the chat, how many of you walked out of the exam and just felt horrible? Maybe we're forgetting some of the trauma of it. Couple of you, couple people raising. Yeah, it doesn't feel good. Yeah, Shannon, I feel that. Yeah, just you feel like you get punched around a little bit, right? Yeah, I totally get it. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Harun, I was wondering about you. The 200 questions are brutal. And it is absolutely exhausting. There was some research that came out recently that said something about doing stuff that is mentally really difficult actually can be more tiring than physical labor. So, don't be surprised by that. It is absolutely exhausting. It's physically draining taking it. And I just want to say, often what happens is if you felt really bad when you walked out of an exam, it not always is the case, but to me, that's usually something I'm happy about because with my students is because it means they saw the complexity. So if it means that you're seeing the complexity, unless you felt horrible because you didn't get to the PT, something like that's obviously not great. But I know people that didn't finish the PT and still pass the exam. So there's also that. But usually it's a good thing. Often if you felt really good, that means there was some layer of complexity that you didn't see. So that's something to if you want to talk about that stuff, feel free to reach out. Also, if you have gotten your results and you do have a score letter and definitely set up an appointment and we can chat and it's completely free. So those appointments are totally free. So we're going to talk about what not to do and then also some good things that you can do and that you should do in this time. So first, what should you not do? So I wouldn't discuss the contents of the exam. And the reason that I say this is because often what happens is you take the exam and you walk out and you forget what you've done. If you walk out, you totally forget what you've done. You forgot what you did. Good example for me. I walked out of in law school, my criminal law midterm, and I was talking to a friend about it, and she was saying stuff that she did, and she's wicked smart. She graduated #1 from University of Chicago and for undergrad, and then had her grandparents were neighbors with Scalia, so she knew Scalia, which doesn't make her smarter or anything or any better, but there was a lot of privilege there that I definitely didn't have. I was the first person in my family to go to college, and then let alone law school. All of that stuff was me, so I felt very intimidated. And I was saying how I did one thing, and she's like, "Why did you do that? You didn't need to do that." And it turned out that she was wrong and I was right, and I got the highest score. So, and also, I will totally think that I didn't do something. I'm like, I didn't address that issue at all. And then I'll get my exam back and I'm like, oh, I actually did. So, have you guys experienced that? Did you experience that when you're in law school? You thought you didn't address an issue and then it turned out that you did. So, that is really, really important. So, this is why not, because you cannot rely on your memory. You absolutely cannot rely on your memory. Also, you talk about the contents of it, you are going to think that you missed stuff that you didn't. And also, the people you're talking to also don't know. We don't know what the bar examiners were looking for. We haven't even seen what, for California, we haven't seen the fact patterns yet. I don't think I have seen the MBE, or I'm sorry, the UBE essays yet either. And Carla, yeah, somebody posted stuff, but you don't necessarily know if they're correct. You absolutely don't. Yeah, yeah, I mean, that can happen. So it's not a good idea to talk about the contents. Your memory is just honestly not very reliable at this point. It's not super reliable. Yeah, and don't worry about what somebody else said. You don't know if they're right. You don't, yeah, there's some holier than thou vibes, totally. And also people lie. People lie. I can be really naive about this. I can totally be really naive about this. And I always just generally like to assume that people are telling the truth. I'm definitely an optimist. And people just lie about what they did. People lie about their numbers on things. It's wild. So just don't talk about the contents of it. It's only going to really make you feel bad. Also, again, so the essay questions, I check every day. They have not been released yet. I checked just before we started this meeting. For California, they haven't been released. Usually I get the NCBE, they email me the MEEs and the MPTs as soon as they release them. And I know some jurisdictions post them, I think a little bit sooner, but we haven't gotten them yet. So when they are released though, again, you probably are not going to remember what you did. You're not going to remember what you did. So it's a good idea not to also go in and overanalyze them because you don't remember what you did. And also just obsessing about the exam. It's really, really tough to not think about the test. I mean, we're here, right? Probably because you are thinking about it because you're this might be, how many of you feel like this right now? You're just thinking about it constantly. Is anybody like that? Or have you guys sort of chilled a little bit? I mean, I figure that's sort of why people are here. That's why I wanted to have this conversation. Yeah. I mean, it's, and it's a bit of a longer wait. So anything you can do, Stephen, did you want to ask a question or did you just click on that? Anything you can do to sort of, whatever makes you feel good is what you should be doing, and trying not to obsess, about the exam. But you also shouldn't avoid it altogether. So I once had a student that I've had numerous people do this when they were repeating the exam. Mostly who I work with is people that are repeating the test, and they avoided the test. It was 3 days later, and I texted her congratulations, and she still hadn't checked. So you don't also want to get to the point where you're avoiding it altogether. You definitely want to be, as even keeled as you possibly can. And just remember the things that our brains remember, on the MBE in particular, we are constantly focused on all the stuff, the questions that haunt us, the questions that we didn't get right. You don't, and the stuff on the essays too, the things that you were doubting. And you have to ask yourself, I mean, I don't want to talk about what was on the exam. If there was a particular issue, a big issue, you probably got it right. You probably got it correct. And you don't remember that. There is a lot that you got right that you don't remember. Our brains tend to focus on the negative. So I want you to keep that in mind, is that your brain tends to lie to you about the exam. The anxiety is lying to you, basically. So I want you to just constantly remember that when it comes to this test. Okay, so here's some things to do. So one, don't do anything, right? Don't do anything. It's completely, oh, thanks, Sam. Okay to not do anything regarding like related to the bar right now. Like you absolutely don't have to if you're not doing a whole lot. Like I fully support that. Your brain, even if it turns out that you get bad news come November or whenever your bar results come out, it's okay. There is plenty of time to prep, even if you get results in November or October, or if you just got them, you don't need to start studying right away. So it's completely okay. You should also be proactive about other areas of your life that need attention. So this is like right now. So one of the things that I'm going to talk about, what we're going to talk about today is like creating sort of a plan B, right? Are you guys, I want to like warn people that I'm going to talk about that. So if that's not something you want to talk about, if that feels too negative, then I don't mind you dipping out. Like that's okay. So if that's you, that's okay. And if you want to dip out, I'm not offended. But, worst case scenario, you don't get good news. Right now, what you should be doing is preparing for that scenario if it happens, if it were to happen, right? So we don't know yet. Or if we do know, then like you should definitely reach out and definitely talk to me, and we can talk about like what works for you. And with everybody, like I always will do a free call with you if you have your scores and your essays and all of that. Like I'm happy to chat. But like go to the doctor, go to the dentist, see your friends, see your family if you want to. Go to the movies, go see Barbie and Oppenheimer, right? Like any of those things that you need to do, that you should do, like take your car to the mechanic if you need to do that. Like anything that you couldn't do while you were studying, you should do that now. Anything that you think you might have to deal with in the future, you should do that. You should absolutely just like make it so that if it's the worst case scenario, you're set up for that. And that's really one of the things that you should be doing, and you should be thinking about, like making an inventory of things to do, right? Holiday shopping, etc. Whatever, if that's something you're concerned about. 2 or 3, know when the results are released. So that link yeah, I think I posted the link, but the link for results, California, they come out. I know most of you here took California, but you can look at the result release date for July 2022 to get an idea of when July 23, if your jurisdiction has not yet released them. So just so you guys have that there, that's a great resource. So definitely know when the results are released, what time, how you're going to access them. Like you could think about like, I wanted, how many of you guys, it's your first time taking it? If you can like put it in the chat, just curious. So yeah, there's quite a few of you, right, that took it for the first time. So like, definitely know how to access your results. Like in California, you need your exam ID, or you need your applicant ID, I think it was called. So make sure that you have that. Make sure that you know what it is. Like I knew someone that he had lost it. So definitely make sure that you have that information, like put it in a safe place, put it something you can't lose it. Like maybe you have it in a Google Doc or something. Know the timing. Also think about what you want to do on the day of. It's a really, I will say, like it's a difficult day. It's like definitely an anxiety inducing day. And the time seems to just slow down to a snail's pace on that day. So, you just want to sort of be prepared for that mentally and like have a plan for what you're going to do, but definitely know the date. Definitely know the date. Create a plan B. So definitely create a plan B. So some things that you want to think about are, okay, employers, like know what the policy is. And talk about that, in advance. So know what your policy is, for where you're working. Know also think about stuff like time off, vacation plans. This is one of the difficult things. One of the difficult things about the test is about taking it in February. And also like think about whether you want to retake, if you do have to retake it, think about whether you would like to retake it in February, or maybe you would rather wait until next July. I will say that I was just going to answer that, Shore. The February exams are not actually more difficult. The pass rates are always lower, but the reason for that is not because of exam difficulty. So it's because of the quantity of test takers that take it. You get the most people by far that take July. So like, for example, in July, you get around 10,000 people to take the exam. In February, you get around 3,000 people. So it's triple the amount. So in July versus February. Also, and I will just say the statistic, but I know it's a little bit of a scary one. generally speaking, people that retake the bar pass at a lower rate because there are different challenges associated with with repeating the bar exam. There's a lot of mental stuff that goes along with it, with repeating, that is not fun. It's really difficult. It actually really does require a bit of a grieving process. Like, there's no issue with curving or anything like that. So it's really because if you think about it, right, there's 3 times the amount of people that take it in July versus February. And all of the people that take it in July, you have like, it's like all of the top people at all of the schools that have just graduated are all taking it in that July, right? So then you remove that whole pool of people, and then you end up with, it's just a different population, right? Where maybe, for whatever reason, people are not, or people that, don't pass it on the first try. But it's definitely not because the February exam is more difficult. I personally think you have, from getting results to test day, you actually have about a month longer to prepare taking the February exam than you do July. So that's if you like go taking back-to-back exams. Obviously, like if you took July and you're not going to take it again until next July, for example, then you obviously have a lot more time. But I wouldn't not take February. I wouldn't avoid February just because the stats are lower. It's not the exam. It's truly, truly not. But also, like, you want to have a plan B so you're not figuring it out while you're also really like while you're upset, right? And hopefully, like, I truly hope that every single one of you passes. Like, absolutely. Like, I want that for every single one of you. So, but like, worst case scenario, it's good to just have that. So think about your employer, talk to them in advance. What happens if you don't get good news? Think about time off. Do you want to save that time off? If you have paid time off and there's a policy and you have a limited amount of time, think about how you want to use that. It's just a good idea to do that. Also, some people like to continue studying. Is anybody here studying for February just in case? Good, Shannon. I love that. Good, Bendy. I also like it if you are. A lot of you are. And like it depends on the person, right? It really depends. It depends on you as an individual. It depends on, how you felt. It depends on, yeah, Shannon, I get that. There's so many factors to take into consideration. But just as like a safety thing, but also like, it's okay if you feel so burnt out and you just like, I have had burnout before. When I had burnout, I will never forget it. I was like, this is what people talk about when I was in law school, and it was my first year. And I reached a point where I had done so much every day. And I walked into the library and I just started crying. And I literally had the urge. I am not a violent person. I had the urge to take my criminal law textbook and throw it out the window. Like, I wanted to break the window because I was just so frustrated and so sick of being in the stupid library. So, if you need to take a break, I do not blame you at all. And you should absolutely do that. And if you decide to do that and wait till November, like, you can absolutely start then. You could start in December even. I always think, I think the longest somebody should study, depending on the situation, unless you're a foreign lawyer and you're taking it for the first time, I definitely think that you should, 6 months is probably the longest period of time you want to study. And that's really like, if you're working, if you have a lot going on and you want to really spread out your studying, 6 months is good. But longer than that, people tend to burn out, and you don't want to do that. Yeah, I agree. Somebody said I shouldn't have smashed my crim. I should have smashed my property. I hadn't even gotten the property yet in law school. So create a plan B. So know what you're going to do. Know what's that going to look like. Know like what the repeat policy is for your bar prep plan or bar prep company. So like all of that stuff, just have it in place. Think about the expenses, right? Like, it costs like another $1,000, which sucks. But it just costs. So like, what are you going to do so that you're not grieving and then also having to figure everything out? Like, you can, in Reddit forums, you can ask, like, what did people do? What did it look like? What are the like unexpected things that came up, right? But a big, big part of it is actually like the emotional aspect of it. I have someone actually that I know that actually is like counsels people that are kind of grieving like an exam loss. So something which sounds maybe a little bit ridiculous, but it is for anybody that's been in that position. It can be emotionally and mentally really difficult. So I like to have support for like any sort of scenario or what anybody might need. And then the person that sent me a message setting up an appointment, just click on that, use that link to set up an appointment with me if you don't mind. So create a plan B. So I think this is what I mentioned, all these things. So yeah, go to the doctor, dentist, mechanic, look for a job, see your friends, see your family. You should definitely enjoy life a little bit. Like you guys all worked really, really hard for the preparing for the test. So plan B, getting into this. I always do this. I know what points I want to make, and then I have another slide and I'm like, oh, it's here. So mentally and emotionally, you did try really, really hard. So it can be, so like know that, and this stuff is normal, that there's like shame because you have to tell people are going to ask you. There's also a bit of frustration, not a bit, a lot. So mentally and emotionally, just know that that stuff is really normal. Like I say, you have to grieve it. I do say that you have to grieve it because it's a loss. It's a loss of time, energy, money, like all of those things. And then you have to do it again. And it's scary. So that's all normal and that's okay. Plan B, so financially, cost of exam, bar prep, time off work, all of those things are difficult. All right. And then family and friends, time, right? So think about, time off, you know, a lot of people do trips around the holidays. So you want to think about like, what are you going to be able to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? If you're in that situation, and like, is that something you really have control over, right? So just keep that stuff in mind as you're making plans, not to be such a downer, because I don't like that, but I just like to raise this stuff so that you can think about it for yourself and make a decision just with the most information. So we have for those of you that might be interested and might want to be doing something, I decided to do a course too, and I made it pretty cheap for bar prep. So for those of you that want to start and don't really know where to start, so we're doing I'm calling it like early intervention. So it's early start bar prep. So it's going to be a once a week class. It's going to be like 1 to 2 hours on Sundays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern. We're going to review all of the MBE subjects. We're going to do some essay writing, some issue spotting. We're going to practice some PT skills. You're going to get 200 MBE questions. We're going to do MBE strategy too. And I'll have a schedule and everything. So I'm going to do this early intervention class because I just thought, why not? And it's only $99. So if you want to do that, it's 8 weeks. There's 8 sessions. Generally speaking on Sundays, but there's one that's on a Monday evening because I'm out of town one weekend. So you can also do that. I floated this idea to a bunch of like students of mine, and they said that they were interested. So we just literally are launching it now. So if you guys are interested, here's the link to sign up. And if you sign up now, there's nothing in the course just yet. Everything is drafted. I'm just like moving some stuff around right now. So and I'm teaching it. I will do it every week. I'm super excited, but this will really just kind of like, my whole goal here is we're going to work on frequently tested stuff. I will talk about that, Hars. That's a really great question. I wanted to keep you guys all it's like early intervention in case you don't get what you want, but just a little bit each week to keep you fresh. And then also, so like you feel ahead. So this is what I'm doing, and it's for both California and UBE together. So with the essays, it's going to start on September 10th. Oh yeah, I say 10, the 10 on there, and I keep thinking September 10th, but it starts September 10th. And all the information is there. There will be 30 MBEs assigned for each week. Yeah, Julia, Georgia. Yes, because Georgia does adopt the MPT. I don't think, let me look at Georgia. So, because it's not UBE though, but they do use those materials if what I recall is correct. But set up an appointment with me too if you want to talk specific about Georgia. You can absolutely. And if anybody else wants to have an appointment with me, and I made it really inexpensive because I know like if y'all are waiting for results, people don't want to like obviously spend a lot of money. So I totally get that. But if you want to stay up, just stay up on everything and like have sort of a rhythm and feel like you're doing something and feel productive, it can help sort of ease some of that anxiety that you're getting like a head start, right? They're BarMD, so everything has sort of a medical theme, so early intervention. So we have that, and I'm going to teach it. It's the first time doing it. I've obviously taught bar stuff forever, but I haven't done anything like this, and I'm really excited about it, actually. I think it'll be a fun thing to do. Okay, maybe fun's not the right word, but it'll be productive. It'll be really productive. What do you do how do you tackle exhaustion from studying is a great question. It's really like doing all of the things that you didn't get to do because of the bar. And I also think like, Hars, I know for you, like you go really, really hard. You go hard and you have an intense work schedule too. So, and I think a lot of us do. So I think it's really important to like, to absolutely, I think it's really important to, just do, yeah, I would say to like make it so that the test isn't such a big part of your life is sort of what I say. So like people, and I say this because sometimes people are exhausted at the thought of having to study again for the exam. If they have to retake it, it's 1 to 2 hours, Sam, 1 to 2 hours. It's probably going to be mostly like 90 minutes to 2 hours each session, some longer, some shorter. But yeah, I mean, just the exhaustion, I would say to do all the things so that the exam doesn't have such a big impact. I don't know if that helps, Horace. It's a tough question. It's so unique to everybody. Hi, Marcella. Oh, the calendar should have set. Hold on, let me fix the calendar for those of you. It should be. That's weird. I changed it. Okay, good, Horace. I did change it. Hang on 1 second. I must have not saved it. Hang on. I'll make it so that it's supposed to start tomorrow, being able to book meetings. So give me 1 second, y'all. Thank you so much for telling me that. And right now I have appointments Monday through Thursday. Okay, now you should be able to book for me sooner. So for those of you that said that you couldn't get the appointment started in November, it didn't save earlier. All right, so that's set. Thank you for alerting me to that. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah, exercise, super important. I agree. Hi, Karen. Karen, I can let you speak if you have, give me 1 second. I have to turn this on so that you can. Hi, Karen. You have to just unmute yourself.
Fabulous, Maureen.
Hi.
I missed what was the BarMD early intervention, please. Can you, I apologize to the other attendees, but what is
No,
that?
that's okay. It's just it's a new workshop course we're doing. So it's going to meet once a week on Sundays. Mostly there's one Monday evening in October. And it's like every week we're going to talk about a different subject and we're going to focus on different skills. So it's essay stuff, PT stuff, MBE stuff. So it's everything. Plus a little bit of I actually think I'm gonna give you guys some pieces of my text of my book, of my essay book to use just to like outline various topics too. So I'm gonna make it so that you yeah, it's a new workshop course just to sort of kind of like get going and prepping for February, or for those of you that are waiting for results and are just worried. So it just kind of keep you going and like feel productive and good while you're going through it. Does that answer your question, Karen?
Yes, it does. And may I ask, I also wanted to purchase your brand. I think I have everything that you've ever sold, but what I want to purchase your brand new quick sheets. May I ask if that's going well or what?
Yeah,
The
the quick sheets. And the quick sheets, you can definitely get those and print them out and everything. There's some, you just have to watch the instruction, look at the instructions really carefully for printing those, but we can help you with that. And the workshop is recorded. So just in case you miss a class, yes, it's recorded. Everything will be uploaded usually within a day. So yeah, it's definitely recorded. But yeah, the quick sheets, I'm going to do a sample. I have an MBE book coming out that's actually going to be a full MBE book that has the black letter law and then assignments of questions that will include every single question. So if you guys have used Adaptabar, but you really want to have stuff, this is like, this will be ready by October 31st. But if you want to use Adaptabar, if you've used it, but you wish you could do stuff on paper, it has that. Plus there's a software component to it too. Julia, it's at 10 a.m. California time, 1 p.m. Eastern is 8 hours, but it is also recorded. So it's recorded. It's mostly going to be mostly lectures. So yeah, so that's the early intervention. It's $99. I just figured do it, keep it inexpensive, particularly for bar prep. And that'll start September 10th. So if you want to do that, you can absolutely, yeah, you can join that. It should be fun. I'm going to teach that. And if you guys have any questions, it's 8 weeks. It's 8 weeks. So it's like a full-on course, full on. That's okay, Ruben. It'll be recorded and you can ask me questions. Like if you wanted to, I'm not super busy. I mean, I am busy, but like I'm not in meetings. So if you miss it, if you have like a particular question, you can use that you can use that link to make just a quick one-on-one to ask me a particular question about class too. That's something you can definitely do. But yeah, we're gonna do that. We also, how many of you guys are here? Are you definitely taking February? Or most of you just waiting? I think most, because tomorrow I'm doing one that's going to be really similar to this, but a little bit different. Doing another workshop tomorrow night that's for people that know that they're taking February. Yeah, hopefully none of any of you that took it, just sending you the absolute best of luck. Hi, Larry. Hi. Okay, Karen, you are. Okay, good. February, yeah. Yeah, so this will be for like those of you that know you're definitely taking February. This is a really good, just like easing into bar prep. And we're like, I really want to focus on the skills. So getting into writing, like what should you be doing, etc. Yeah, Christina, I know you are. Julia, I get that. So yeah, so if any of you guys, any other questions? Bendy, do you have a question? Oh, you said what about LLMs? Any advice for LLMs? No, I mean, it really is the same. And then Marvetta, I see your question too. For LLMs, it really is the same. LLMs, it's a little bit different. Was it your first time taking it, Bendy? Because if it's just different. Like for an LLM, like I usually like to talk to the people. So definitely you can feel free to make an appointment with me and we can talk about like your specific needs. Because I usually want to know like what did you do to prep? How long did you do it for? What was your experience like? What type of education were you used to doing multiple choice? A lot of other countries don't do multiple choice like we do in the US. And then the MBE is like the worst multiple choice you could possibly imagine. So really sort of interesting. So yeah, so you should just feel free to make an appointment. Marvetta, one tip for doing your moral character. One tip for doing your moral character is you can do, I don't know if they still call it this, but on Westlaw, they used to call it a people map report. So you can definitely do a people map search of yourself. You can call Westlaw, say, hey, I'm a bar applicant. I'm going to be taking the bar exam and I need to do my moral character, and ask them if they can run a people map search for you. So you should just do that. Like you can even go into like a local law library and see if they can do that for you with Westlaw. That can be really, really helpful. And then the MPRE, I have a free workshop that I did regarding the MPRE. It is posted on YouTube. I'm reorganizing. We're resetting up all of our free workshop courses. So it's going to be split into so it's easier to navigate. So for any of you that are signed up for our free workshop course, like that's all changing at the moment. We're rolling that out in the next week or two. But you can watch that on YouTube, but watch that YouTube video, Marvetta, because I give you a study schedule. I tell you, you should really just use like Barbary or Themis. They have free online MPRE courses. Those are sufficient. And then I tell you how to really use that information and give you a schedule. So look at that. Let's see, I have questions at the bottom. Yes, Martin, it is. Okay, yeah, Bendy, make an appointment with me and we can chat. We can definitely chat because you want to start studying. Bendy, I would definitely recommend, if you haven't already, to start studying in September. Yeah, definitely what I would say. All right. Any other questions or anything else anybody needs? Oh, and just as a one thing I'm throwing to throw out there for any of you guys that have my books or like my books or whatever, we are doing a printed Julia, you can definitely combine early intervention with the adaptive bar. Yeah, because you can definitely combine it. And this is recorded. This will be recorded, or it is being recorded and it will be posted rather to YouTube, really to our free workshop course, because that's where I always post the materials. My book is on my website. It's digital, but if you sign up, we are actually going through a printing process and they will print, I think they will ship by December 1, which is plenty of time to use it for the Cal Bar, but you will have digital access until then. So if you, we have to figure out the charge. So if you got digital and want to upgrade and like add on the paper copy, you only have to pay for basically the cost and the shipping, but the cost of printing. So definitely let us know that. Definitely let us know that if you want to get a printed copy, because we're going to do some like pre-order of it. So we have for the essay book and the PT book, both of those we're going to be printing and being able to ship those out. And for those of you with the UBE, the essay, the MEE book and the MPT book are coming out, and the MBE book also. Khalud, send us an email at hello, because we're getting the pre-orders set up. We're getting all of that set up. I just want to get like specific printing dates from my printer as well. Yeah, I totally prefer tangible books as well. So and we'll let everybody know that we're going to send out an email as well. But yeah, so just as a heads up. So yeah, anybody that wants to get a hard copy or is interested in something else, just send us an email to hello, and we will definitely get back to you about that, and we'll send you a link so that you can upgrade. I just want to get, I was talking with my printer today and I want to get just precise dates. He's getting them back to me in the next few days. Yeah, Bharat, we definitely have a comprehensive bar review. You should set up an appointment to meet with me. You can use the link here. Give me 1 second. Use this link, set up an appointment to meet with me, and we'll chat one-on-one about your specific needs, everything you need. Because yeah, we definitely have comprehensive. And particularly if you're a foreign applicant, I would absolutely recommend my essay book because it's templates for how to do the analysis. And I'm updating it right now. The essay book, we're adding some more templates to it, some stuff that not super frequently tested, but just some additional things we're adding to it. So that's what I'm doing every day right now. So that for foreign applicants, I think it is particularly helpful because it's literally how to write the analysis. along with footnotes, etc. So that's incredibly, incredibly helpful. I've seen people's writing like soar after using it, just absolutely fly above and beyond with it. How do we know how many you sat? We don't know exactly yet, but it's probably around 10,000. It's generally around 10,000 that take the July California bar. Anybody have any other questions? All right, great. Well, if you do need anything, if you have any questions, if you do need anything, always feel free to reach out to me. If you need anything at all, if you want to chat, I always love, chatting with everybody. So just absolutely let me know what y'all need. Because if there's like more free workshop, interest, I'm happy to do stuff if people have questions. Just want to support y'all on the way to passing. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Hi, Carla. Thank you so much. Thanks, Maria. Hi, Larry. Thank you. Thanks, France and Karen and Shannon. You guys are all so kind. Oh yeah, I saw her and I think I saw your register. So yeah, thanks, Katya. Thanks, Elizabeth. And also we'll send out an email after with a link to the course and also a few other free resources I have for all of you guys too, if you want to just, keep apprised of things. So we're working on getting some more free resources up for y'all. Oh, good, Kalu. Great. Good night. Good night, Martin. Thanks, Porfirio. Thanks, Reynaldo. All right, everybody. Thanks so much.